She walked confidently into the airport, her captain's uniform crisp and immaculate. Today was an important day. She was piloting a major flight, a testament to years of hard work. As she approached the staff counter, she noticed a few employees exchanging glances. She had dealt with prejudice before, but she hoped this time would be different. One of the staff members, a middle-aged man in a neatly pressed suit, looked her up and down. "Ma'am, this area is for airline personnel only," he said, not bothering to check her ID. She raised an eyebrow, pulling out her badge. "I am airline personnel. I'm Captain Danielle Harper, piloting Flight 372. His expression flickered, but he didn't back down. "I'm sorry, but you'll have to wait outside," he said curtly, motioning toward the exit. Other staff members at the counter pretended not to hear. A few passengers waiting nearby watched the exchange, sensing something was off. Danielle took a deep breath. She had worked too hard to let ignorance define her moment. "Excuse me," she asked, her voice steady but firm. The man's stance remained rigid. "We don't allow non-crew members in this section." Danielle felt a surge of anger but controlled it. She had heard of situations like this happening to others, but now she was facing it firsthand. Keeping her composure, she spoke again. "I am the crew. Would you like to call the operations manager?" Another staff member finally stepped in, glancing at her badge. His face turned pale. "Wait, you're the captain," he stammered. The first man's expression changed from dismissive to uncertain. Danielle crossed her arms. "That's what I've been saying. Now, can I proceed to my flight?" The hesitation in their eyes was infuriating. Just then, the airline's senior supervisor arrived, having noticed the commotion. He recognized Danielle immediately. "Captain Harper, I was just about to send for you," he said warmly. She nodded but didn't let her guard down. The first staff member shifted uncomfortably. "Is there a problem?" the supervisor asked, glancing between them. Danielle took a deep breath. "Yes, your staff just told me to wait outside because they assumed I didn't belong." The supervisor's expression darkened. The realization of what had just happened hit him hard. "Is that true?" he asked, looking at the guilty employee. The man hesitated, then mumbled something about a misunderstanding. Passengers nearby had started murmuring among themselves. Some had recorded the exchange. The supervisor turned to Danielle. "Captain, I deeply apologize. This is unacceptable." But Danielle wasn't just looking for an apology. She had been through this kind of discrimination before, and it was time to do something about it. Later that day, she filed a formal complaint with the airline's corporate office. But she didn't stop there. She reached out to media contacts, legal advisors, and organizations that supported diversity in aviation. Within hours, the news spread like wildfire. Airline staff disrespects black female captain. The internet exploded with reactions. The airline's PR team scrambled for damage control, issuing statements of regret, but it was too late. Public pressure mounted. Activists, pilots, and passengers condemned the incident. Major news outlets picked up the story, broadcasting it nationwide. The airline's executives were forced to take immediate action. The staff member who had dismissed Danielle was suspended, pending investigation. But the issue went deeper than just one employee. Airlines worldwide faced scrutiny over diversity and discrimination. Many came forward with similar experiences, exposing a long-standing issue in the industry. Danielle had sparked a movement. Legal teams got involved, and within weeks, policies were being rewritten. The airline announced mandatory diversity training for all employees. Corporate leaders promised systemic changes, but Danielle knew words weren't enough. She pushed for real accountability, making sure policies turned into actual change. Soon, other black pilots and female aviators reached out to her, sharing their own struggles. Inspired by her courage, they formed a coalition to fight discrimination in aviation. The movement gained traction, with more and more voices joining the fight. Airlines across the country took notice, afraid of similar backlash. Months later, the airline that had disrespected her faced financial losses from public boycotts. Their CEO stepped down, admitting the company had failed its employees and customers. Major investors pulled out, and lawsuits were filed. Danielle had not just fought back, she had brought down an entire system of injustice. In an interview, she reflected on everything. "I didn't ask for this fight," she said. "But if my experience can help change things for future generations of pilots, then I'll keep pushing." Her words resonated. She became a symbol of resilience, proving that one moment of discrimination could lead to a movement for justice. Standing on a stage at an aviation conference, she looked out at a crowd of aspiring pilots, men and women of all backgrounds. She smiled. Your place in this industry is earned through skill, not through stereotypes. And no one has the right to tell you otherwise. The audience erupted in applause. The airline that had dismissed her had been forced to change from the inside out. New leadership took over, and employees were held accountable. Danielle had done more than fight for herself, she had redefined the future of aviation for countless others. And as she walked toward her next flight, head held high, she knew one thing for certain: the sky had never felt more open.